back. Are we on? All right. All right, brothers and sisters. Let's just give people a second to come back on. Shalom, 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 shalom. We're back. All right, we're back. All right, let's give it a second for people to log back in. All right, I guess we'll just start, right? Huh? Yeah, let's play the video.
Du Bois first embraced a notion that came from white philanthropists, right, who wanted to cull the top 10% of a subjugated people so that 10% could manage their own people and keep them in line with capital, with racial capital, right? And if he bought that idea in 1903 that came from the American Home Missionary Society, white philanthropists, so that Spelman is named after a Rockefeller, and Morehouse is named after a white philanthropist, right? So they're paying for these colleges and institutions because they're creating a black elite. If that is the premise that they can manage unrest by having a lid on the base that never has enough food, never has enough dignity, but you constantly tell them, if you only work hard like me, you stay out of trouble like I did, you put in the hours and you can be like me one day, you know, then that is something that needed to be critiqued, and that Du Bois later repudiated it. Because when he became radicalized, and he says at one point, I can't remember the text, the only people who came to his aid were not property or affluent black people. It was the trade unionists. It was the workers, right? And the unionists were militants. So when he had like these charges, the House Un-American Activities Committee, these were the people that came to his assistance.
All right, like and share, brothers and sisters. Like and share. Let's get up the likes and shares. All right, even though class was stopped, let's get up the likes and shares. So you have W.E. Du Bois found out later on, a lot of these black, like I say, HBCUs, black colleges that you think are black owned are not black owned. Like Spelman, they say was started by Rockefeller. Why do you think they started it? They start these schools, and if what is in Morehouse was established by white philanthropists, so that they could, I could say, tunnel the elite of our people and find them out and separate them and create a black elite. So they're creating a system of black elites. NAACP was. You gonna say something?
Yes, they said they got to focus on the top 10%. Once they get the top 10%, they can use those to control the masses of the people.
Yep. Exactly. So every empire, every nation followed the same script and get the elite of our people and separated them to control the top 10%, just like Daniel was one of the elite of the children. And what was he? He was established as pretty much a president over the region. He was over 3 different realms. Second to the king. Right. Now let's get Daniel chapter 2, verse 2.
Book of Daniel chapter 2 and verse 2. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation.
So the Chaldeans was amongst the sorcerers, the astrologers, as well as the Chaldeans were amongst all those. So the Chaldeans had direct access and influence with the king. That's why they said, tell us the dream. Now, you ask yourself a question. If you look at a king and a kingdom, they don't really talk about these sorcerers and magicians, these astrologers and astronomers. When you go to in public records and historical archives, you read their cabinet or their office or their generals. They won't tell you uprightly that it was the magicians, or the Bible tells you or shows you things that's not unseen to the naked eye. You got to see things spiritually with the Lord showing us that a lot these nations, whether it's the Senate or the Congress, they're surrounded by astrologers, magicians, witches, because all of them worship the devil. And that's where they get the wisdom from. They get it from the astrology. They get it from the constellation. They get it from the horoscopes. They get it from Satan. And they operate off of the left side. So that's how they're able to maneuver and operate. You want to say something?
Even the president of the United States, he has a religious advisor. Why do you have a religious advisor for? You know, every president, I think her name is Paula White. That's Donald Trump's religious advisor for a reason. And I believe Isaiah talked about it too, about their religious advisors, astrologers, and all those that are able to tell time. So like Cap is bringing out, behind the scene, the wicked of our people and the wicked of this people, they have, you know, magicians and evil people that tells them about the time. He also knows, because the scripture tells you about Esau, there's no secret hidden from him. So he knows some things.
Exactly. Now, let's get up. The secret White House astrologer, Joanne. So now, is this far-fetched to believe that the same astrologers, the magicians, the Chaldeans are around today? Yes, they are around today. What we're reading in the scriptures, that's why the scripture says things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. That the Lord requires that which is past to be present, because everything that happened in the past is being brought to the present. History repeats itself is because it's the same people repeating history. These are the same figures that's being presented in today's society. What we're seeing in a presidential campaign or presidential office is, or the presidential cabinet, is these astrologers, these witches, these magicians, and the Chaldeans today. Read that. Come on. How
Nancy Reagan's secret phone-in astrologer became a powerful White House advisor and helped oust the chief of staff.
You thought that the Bible was a fable or fairy tale book. You had an astrologer as the chief advisor for President Reagan. Now, that's just one article. I was looking for this current presidential cabinet, but they're not showing you if they have any of these advisors in this White House, because they say, you know what, we got to keep this hidden. It's secret. This shouldn't have gone out at all. Yep, it's right there.
It says, since the Reagan presidency, there has been some debate over exactly how much influence Quigley had over the commander-in-chief's comings and goings. In Quigley's 1990 book, What Does Joanne Say? My 7 years as White House astrologer to Nancy and Ronald Reagan. The astrologer claimed she was responsible for timing all press conferences, most speeches, the State of the Union addresses, the takeoffs and landings of Air Force One. I picked the time of Ronald Reagan's debate with Jimmy Carter and the 2 debates with Walter Mondale. All extended trips abroad, as well as the shorter trips and one-day excursions, she added.
So the astrologers, your magicians, your Chaldeans was responsible for all of the presidential moves. Their appointments, the going to space, their interviews, everything. Showing you that these advisors or presidents don't move without any of their advisors. And they had astrologers on their cabinet. You was going to say something, officer?
Isn't America a Christian that's supposed to be a Christian?
Yes, they are.
It's just supposed to be founded on judicial laws and rules according to the Bible.
Yep.
The Bible plainly says that you're supposed to burn a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what's going on here? Chaldeans back at play.
Exactly. It shows you in God they trust. What God do they trust? It's not the God of the Bible. Get me the next one. So now, we got the astrologers, magicians, and Chaldeans. Chaldeans was the top elite or the upper echelons of today's society, the people, the ones that advise the president directly. Now, let's see. Let's get the Jewish library. Damn. I'm just going to put it like that. Today, Amalek, or the so-called Jews, are the Chaldeans today.
Right.
They serve as the administration to Trump's office. They dictate and they control Israel, and they lobbyists for Israel for all the actions and all their, I'll say, presidential orders that's put out is support Israel and their agenda. Come on.
It says Jews in the second Trump administration, 2025 to 2029. Come on. It says Adam Bowler, special envoy for hostage affairs. Stephen Feinberg, deputy secretary of defense. Josh Greenbaum, commissioner of FAST GSA, senior advisor to the Board of Peace. Jared Isaacman, administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. Yehuda Kaplan, special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. Charles Kushner, ambassador to France. Howard Lutnick, secretary of commerce. Martin Marks, White House liaison to the Jewish community. White House liaison to the Jewish community. Stephen Miller, deputy chief of staff for policy. Morgan Artigas, deputy special envoy to the Middle East. Tom Rose, United States ambassador to Poland. David Sachs, White House AI and crypto czar. Will Scharf, White House staff secretary. Eric Traeger, National Security Council senior director for the Middle East and North Africa.
Now let's get to the next one. So these are top officials that's in the White House that are advisors to the President of the United States. Why? Just like the Chaldeans, you have the so-called Jewish community set themselves up as advisors in order to pass policies to support Israel and their agenda. Let's go to the next one. Times of Israel. Who are the Jews in Trump's inner circle?
Times of Israel. Who are the Jews in Trump's inner circle, and how will they affect his second term? Trump's list of Jewish associates for his upcoming presidency includes Republican friends and family and political allies with varying levels of experience. Come on. Stephen Miller, David Friedman, Jared Ivanka. These names and a few others became familiar to American Jews over the 4 years of Donald Trump's first term in the White House. Depending on the day and the political views, Jews looked at them with pride or scorn, hope or disappointment. In addition to shaping the course of the first Trump administration, they became symbols of and conduits for the president's relationship with the Jewish community.
This is in addition to shaping the course of the first Trump administration. These people control the policies that's being made in the Trump. That's why you have the Jewish or the Israeli flag right next to an American flag, because you have the Israeli lobbyists are the ones that control the White House. And a lot of the different presidential orders that's being passed is all to support Israel. You think America wants to go to war with Iran? No, they have to go to war. Who do you think controls the Epstein files? It's by force. They set up the Mossad agents and the secret operatives to blackmail all of them so that they can manipulate and control America to support their agenda. That's establishing the greater Israel or establishing a vision. Remember that? Hey, remember the deal that we have? If you don't, we'll drop it. We'll leave your name out, but listen, we'll hit everybody else. If you keep on thinking we're playing with you, make sure you go over there, Iran, and bomb Iran. Keep going.
Second paragraph. It says, now 4 years later, as Trump...
No, keep going down. Let's look at some of the names. Just, Jared Kushner. You see, Jared Kushner is the one that's going to be responsible for the real estate or the property in the Gaza Strip. He's the head of that program. Go down. Jewish American. Go down. You don't have to read it. It's going to show you some of the names. Stephen Miller. Everybody knows about Stephen Miller. He's always in the news. David Friedman. These are the top administrative officials that's serving within the White House. Names that you see every day. These are some of the top ruling officials. Come on. Everybody, another person, Stephen Witkoff, is constantly within the news.
Miriam Adelson.
Go down.
Skip one. Boris Epstein.
Come on.
Howard Lutnick.
head of Cantor Fitzgerald. Keep going.
Elizabeth Pipko,
Go down.
Lee Zeldin, Laura Loomer, Sid Rosenberg, Will Scharf, Mark Rowan,
All Amalek. Up in an administration office. Controlling the policies that's being made. Now, let's go to, it's a Facebook.com video. Mm-hmm. We can't hear it. Uh-huh. What's going on?
AIPAC.
Mm-hmm. 1 second. What's going on today?
Important thing to understand about AIPAC is it essentially controls the United States Congress. There's actually literally hundreds of organizations that comprise the Israel lobby. But AIPAC is the one that focuses directly on Congress and has been tremendously successful. It's by far the most powerful lobby representing any foreign country in all of American history. There's no question about that. All the members of Congress, House or Senate know that if they criticize Israel, they will be targeted with multi-million-dollar campaigns for their opponent. So in the 2022 election cycle, this is according to the Times of Israel, AIPAC spent more than $50 million, and this enabled AIPAC-backed candidates for Congress to win 342 of 365 races. So that gives you a good idea of how extensively they get involved and how effective they are. So as long as they control the Congress, they don't really have to worry about the president. But there's no question that they would prefer Trump because Trump is a blank check. Trump is whatever Israel wants, it gets.
AIPAC is the most successful pro-Israeli lobby group, I think, in the history of pro-Israeli lobbying in the West, and probably in the whole history of lobbying all over the world. They've always been working with members of both parties in parliament and in the political system. They want to get people to support the interests of Israel as Israel defines them, not as international law defines them or U.S. policy defines them. So I wouldn't link them to any one party or another. The Israelis seem to prefer, public opinion in Israel seems to prefer Donald Trump.
Showing you not only do they have politicians or Amalek or the Israelis within the politicians, they're part of the Trump's administration office, but you also have lobbyist groups such as AIPAC, which are foreign organizations. Now, you had JF Kennedy try to have AIPAC register as a foreign entity, and what happened to him? All of a sudden, and they found out in the JFK files concerning who killed Kennedy. They said, AIPAC, you was going to say something? No, finish your statement. Yeah, so they were going to, so in the Kennedy file, when it was released, AIPAC name was brought up. Yeah. And Israel was held, people found out that Israel was responsible for John F. Kennedy because he wanted them to register as a foreign entity because they are a foreign entity. But AIPAC at that time was plotting to get in, to get the money in the game, and in order to control Congress so they could pass laws to support Israel and their agenda. All the way from Ben-Gurion, Israel always had a plan to establish the vision all the way back then. And look at today. They control the Senate. They control the Congress. They control the president. They say that President Trump is a blank check. They can get President Trump to move and do what they want to do despite everybody against Israel. That's why America is going to be destroyed. Because of America's support of Israel, despite the EU, despite all the nations, the whole world, NATO, being against them going into Gaza and genocide of Palestinians. America has to support Israel because Israel got them in their pocket. Because why? They're the Chaldeans. Come on.
The follow-up guy after JFK was killed was Lyndon B. Johnson. He was a a devout advocate for the so-called Israelis. They had him go into place after JFK died, and he reversed every policy that JFK was putting in place. He reversed it, and he was pro-Israel. So that's the same guy that said that let's get black people to be to commit to the Democratic Party for the next 200 years. All these the Chaldeans that you touching on, these people have always been behind the scenes working these things, implementing these things. They always been there.
Yep.
So, Cap, this further proves that's why the world says Israel is little America. The same people that's in control of America is still in control of Israel. That's why they say that. The land of Israel is little America over there. It's the same people controlling it. Trump has no say-so.
Exactly, because the Chaldeans was a part of Babylon.
Exactly. Yep.
So Israel, you see, the Jewish people are part of America. Yep. It's not like Babylon, Israel and America is one. It's an organization. It's just two different land masses, but Israel rules over America. They control the politicians. They control the Congress, the Senate. Shoot, Jeffrey Epstein was Israeli. You have Maxwell, what is her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. Her father was Israeli. Her father was a Mossad agent. He was the one that actually started, I think, the Mossad agency. He was like one of the first ones, or he made a Mossad popular. So all of them, everything is tied in. The CIA agent, or CIA, the Mossad was created in 1947. Right before Israel was erected. Why do you think they created Mossad in 1947? Because they knew that Israel, the citizens in Poland and Czechoslovakia and Poland and Ukraine was going to be transported to Israel to establish it as a state. They already had this in plan in motion because of the Rothschilds. The Balfour Declaration was in 1919. This was always a plan of action. And then on top of that, you have what was I about to say? Yeah, so, the CIA was created in 1949. Damn. Right after Mossad was created. Why do you think? It was all created to protect Israel's interests. You think I'm lying? Look it up. When was this? Look up on Google. When was Mossad created? When was Mossad created? And then type in when was CIA created. Everything was created surrounding Israel to protect Israel's interests. That's why Israel's given so much power.
So under JFK, because he was going against the so-called Israelis to have them register under the foreign aid. There was a law set up that every country giving foreign aid had to register under it. He was like, yeah, I got to register. They were resistant, so he ended up dying. Lyndon B. Johnson reversed that and did not require for them to register under that law.
Yep. So I had it the other way around now. Check this out. When was CIA created?
On the screen?
Let's go.
It says
Mossad.
Mossad was founded in December 13, 1949.
And when was Israel created? CIA created.
The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, was established in 1947.
Now, type in when was Israel made a state? Showing you everything surrounded Israel. The CIA and the Mossad was created in order to protect Israel's interests and establish a division. All this goes deeper than what we can imagine. 1948. Surrounding what? 1947, 1949. This was all planned out. They created the central intelligence agencies in order to kill anybody or unalive anybody, or to keep anybody from keeping them from establishing their vision. Its name is Israel, U.S. recognized Jewish state. Now, go to the next one, Daniel chapter 3, verse 6.
Daniel chapter 3 and verse 6.
And I want the AR overview next.
And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, the sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, All the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up.
Come on.
Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews.
So certain of the Chaldeans was looking and accused the Jews because they was saying, wait a minute, these Jews over here are not standing down, are not pledging allegiance to the flag of Babylon. Come on.
They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship it, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach? Meshach?
So that's it. What did they do, the Chaldeans? They were looking for any fault and any type of resistance that we were given that they knew our culture, our history, and our belief system, that even though the king wasn't privy to it, the Chaldeans sought out accusation against us and to bring harm upon our people. Just like you have today. Look at these people. Look at these black Hebrew Israelites over there.
Bring it out.
We find fault. Now, let's get out the article. I typed this in. Look at these black Hebrew Israelites. Look at them. They're going against the system that you guys set up. They don't bow to, they don't pledge allegiance. They don't follow the same school system. They take their kids out of the school. They don't follow our Christianity. They're saying that they're Jews. They read in Revelation 2 verse 9. So what do? They lobby for laws against us. Anti-Semitic laws, anti-Semitic task force, Christian task force, bring Christianity back, trying to establish and strengthen their position within America and keeping the vision established and keeping black people asleep. Now breathe that. Jewish communities.
It says Jewish communities and organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, and the Southern Poverty Law.
Now I randomly typed in what organizations are against black Hebrew Israelites. And this is what came up.
Jewish communities and organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, and the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, view certain factions of the Black Hebrew Israelites, BHI, movement as a threat due to the rise of violent, extremist, and overtly anti-Semitic ideologies within the movement. While the movement is diverse...
That's it. So the same people, just like the Chaldeans found fault within the Jews during the Babylonian time captivity, is the same people, not same exact people, but taking on the same spirit of the Chaldeans, finding fault of our people within the new Babylon, which is America. Now, when I say Chaldeans, yes, there's a Semitic people, or they belong to Babylon, but they're not the same people racially, but they take on the same spirit of the Chaldeans, just like America is taking on the same spirit of ancient Babylon. Now, give me Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 35.
Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 25.
35.
35. A sword is upon the Chaldeans.
A sword is upon the Chaldeans, come on.
Saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon.
Because why? The Chaldeans operate as a lead class in the Babylon, Amalek, and America. Come on.
And upon her princes, and upon her wise
princes,
men.
her wise men going to the dukes, going to the Congress, going to the senates, going to the governors, the mayors. Come on.
A sword is upon the liars.
A sword is upon the liars, God said. Come on.
And they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men.
Come on, the military. Come on.
And they shall be dismayed.
They shall be confused. Come on.
A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon the mingled people that are in the midst of her.
Upon the mingled people, meaning the melting pot that's in the midst of her. Come on.
They shall become as women.
They shall become afraid. Come on.
A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed.
And they shall be robbed. Now, let's get the next article. Baal worship. Next article, the next Instagram. We got 11 minutes, so we got to hurry up. Baal worship. No, the Instagram clip. I want the Instagram clip. Not the article. The one before that.
Historically depicted as a bull or an owl, Moloch embodies aspects of fire, sun, and an all-seeing nature. The deity's worship involved horrific practices, including the offering of children, an act condemned across cultures and especially in biblical texts as abhorrent. The worship of Moloch was deeply connected with that of other deities, such as Baal and Ashtoreth, in a complex web of religious beliefs spanning millennia. The representation of Moloch as an owl is possibly linked to ancient Egyptian symbolism. Alarmingly, the veneration of Moloch seems to have seeped into the modern era. Allegations of Moloch worship at the Bohemian Grove in California, where influential figures are known to conduct secret rituals, and references in leaked emails associated with political figures hint at an undercurrent of ancient practices persisting in the shadows of power. There are even rumors of Moloch worship within Freemasonry, particularly at its higher degrees. Moloch's legacy is most visible in its cultural symbols, pervasive in movies, television shows, and even architectural motifs. The bull and owl representing Moloch have become symbols with varied interpretations, often detached from their grim origin.
All right, that's it. Now, get me Leviticus chapter 18, verse 21. So Moloch and Baal are the same gods. I mean, they're Satan. So you see in the scripture, like I said, Baal comes from the ancient Canaanite god. Or Moloch, like I said, these are ancient gods, just interchangeable. We just call the deities different names all throughout history. Read that.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 21.
Come on.
And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord.
Now you might say, okay, Molech. Molech is Baal. It's the same god, whether it's the owl of Bohemian Grove, or you have Wall Street, they have the bull, or basketball, football. All of these association goes back to Baal or Baal, the worship of Satan. Satan hid it in these different, like I said, animalistic entities that the nations worship. Fools. That's what he called them, fools. Worshiping animals and bulls. And it offer up, and you might say, why did God say prevent us or give laws, commandments against us offering up our children? Because in order to get certain type of powers from Satan, just like God, the way we get power from our God in the Holy Spirit is what? By keeping his commandments. The way they get power from their God, which is Satan, is by what? Doing these idol worshiping and sacrifices and drinking blood and all these type of wicked, abominable acts. These things are real and it's recorded in the Bible. And now give me the next file. And the reason why we're bringing this up, because this was in the news, and this has been, now, people might say it's not a conspiracy. People before would say this conspiracy theory. Now, people that call people conspiracists are now coming to the conclusion saying that these are not conspiracy theories because there's actual files and leaks on these things.
Cap.
Yes.
The very secret agents created by these people coined the term conspiracy theories.
Exactly. Now let's read that. JP Morgan files.
Put it on the screen.
Damn. Where is it?
It says Epstein files. JP Morgan wire transfer sparks online occult claims over Baal reference.
Come on. Go down. Let's go to the actual file. Go down. Is that it?
Show full, yeah.
Let's see if we can go to the email. Go down. Right there.
All right. I can zoom in a little bit.
Or just pointing to it. Baal.name.
Right. It says, okay, JPM Financial sponsors July 29, 2009 at 11:55. Memorandum from Jeffrey Epstein, Koch Foundation, to William Doherty at JP Morgan. Date July 27, 2009. It says, please wire $11,438 and from from the above account. Baal, name Wachovia Bank.
Yeah, .na.
.na.
Now, people are saying that was a grammatical error. There's no such, you don't make a grammatical error on a bank account email and with Baal. There's no such thing as errors. Right. That was deliberately done that way, purposely, because that's what it is. Now they're trying to cover up, say, oh, that has nothing to do with that. That was an error. That was not an error. Now give me the next one. The next clip. Because of time constraint, we're gonna skip a couple scriptures. Yep. Now, the Iranians didn't take that as an error. Right. The Iranians took that seriously. Look at this. Come on. That's a Jewish symbol. Keep playing it. Keep playing it. Egyptian symbols. That man of sin being revealed. Keep playing. Don't pause it. Don't pause it. And what flag is that? The Israeli flag. Representing America being burned. All right, next video. Because of time constraints. So the Iranian government or the Iranian people are not taking that as, a grammatical error. They know who the devil is, and they understand that America and Israel worships Baal. All those human sacrifices and missing children, drink, all those things that conspiracy theorists is coming up in the Epstein files. Now, next video. This is Chicago 1933, the World Fair Jewish Day celebration and sacrifice to Moloch. Oh, they didn't think this was out there. Come on. And it's a real clip, by the way. Oh, is that the Ten? All right, now check this out. Get me the next clip. Yep, right there.
Does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl.
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
Really? Things. You don't have to give us the gory details, but what kinds of things went on in the family?
Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to,
Whose babies?
There were people who bred babies in our family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not. Or they would supposedly go away for a while and then come back.
Anyway, so you witnessed the sacrifice?
Right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring...
Now get me one more. The last clip. Then we're going to go straight to the scripture. So within that clip, they were saying that they sacrifice infants in order to get power. All right, play that last clip. Wait, did you finish that last clip? Did she say the power? Yeah, go back to the last clip. Sorry, the one I just played. Yeah, go back to that clip. and read Luke 4 verse 6. Oh yeah. Go to that end. Yep, right there. Right there.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
For power. Get Luke chapter 4 verse 6.
Luke chapter 4.
So the purpose of the sacrifice was for power. Come on.
Luke chapter 4 and verse 6. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me. And to whomsoever I will, I give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine.
And Satan gave them their power. She says the reason why we offer sacrifices and kill these infants is so that we can get power. So that's just a form of Satan receiving power from them. Give me the next clip. Like I said, because of time constraint and a feed being cut, we got to rush.
They eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood. So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. It's past time for us to sit around going like, well, geez, I hope somebody will do something.
So Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12 verse 3.
Wisdom of Solomon.
So they've been calling Joanne crazy for all these years. Now it's coming out. They call it in the files. They call it jerky meat and pizza, all that stuff. Human sacrificing, eating babies and human flesh and drinking blood. Now let's see if that's in the Bible. Come on.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12 and verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land.
Come on.
Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft. And wicked sacrifices.
And wicked sacrifices of what? Come on.
And also those merciless murderers of
children. Come on.
And devourers of man's flesh. And the feast of blood.
And it's so what a lot of these celebrities and these conspiracy theorists was speaking about concerning human sacrifices, the devourers of man's flesh, and the merciless murders of children came out in these files. Human trafficking, they said they found dismembered babies, human flesh. They say people have been saying that they've been eating human flesh for years. Now, in the Bible, said that the original inhabitants or the Amorites of the land did these things. Now, today, Israelis now, okay, I got to shut it down. Captain Sakai just called me. Yes, sir. All right. But that's it for today, brothers and sisters. Sorry about that. Until next time, shalom. Most High in Christ bless.